I hope I can figure out how long the intro is without hearing.
This is The Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
Good morning, Tuscaloosa. Good morning, Tuscaloosa, Internet world, West Alabama. How are we doing today on a Thursday? It is April 2nd. It's the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central, BamaCentral.com. Hope you and yours are doing well. Ready for another day on the Bama Central YouTube channel, the Bama Central Facebook page. We appreciate everybody who's listening to us on Apple Podcast, Amazon, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. You can find the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. We are in the Derek Daniels State Farm Studios right here off the McFarland Boulevard. Call Derek for all of your insurance needs at 205-758-3391. Like a good neighbor, Derek Daniel is there. Saved me a bunch of money. He can save you some money as well. Call him today. See how much money he can save you today. We're also brought to you by Purple Turtle Roofing. Visit roofturtle.com for all of your roofing needs in the state of Alabama, really in the southeastern area. They can take care of you. Call them today at 877-787-6635 for your free roof inspection. They'll come out and take care of you, whether you've got a metal roof or a shingle roof. It doesn't matter. Visit them online for all of their products and services and to schedule your free appointment at roofturtle.com. We're hanging out with my friend Theo Fernandez. You can follow him at Theo Fernandez _. Please do that. He's racing, trying to get to 1,000 followers. He's almost there. You can be the 1,000th follower by following him at Theo Fernandez _. No baseball last night, but there will be baseball action this weekend as the Crimson Tide takes on the Oklahoma Sooners out there in Norman. So you'll want to follow him for all of the baseball coverage. What we're going to do today is be all over the map. Theo, I've got a transfer portal target that Nate Oats and company needs to go after. He's on the lower level, so may not cost as much money, but a great replacement for LeBaron Philon as he goes into the NBA draft and you look for another point guard. I've got a player in the transfer portal you've got to go out and get. I've got some athletic budgets to discuss. Did you know that UConn is the only school that really, I think the only school that put more money into their men's and women's basketball program than the football team? And it obviously paid off with double Final Fours for the Huskies. We could talk about that. And then I've got a mock draft. I've got a mock draft from The Athletic pulled up with a couple of destinations for Kadyn, Proctor, and Ty Simpson. So that's kind of what's in my deck of cards over here. It's okay if you've got something in your hand as well. It's all good. We can bring that to the table. But that's what I have in mind today. How does that sound, and how are you doing, sir?
That sounds great. Always tough. Got to figure out what to talk about, and I think that's a fun thing to dive into, especially that report, because those numbers are fascinating, especially as we're going to talk about Alabama's placement on that chart. But I'm doing great. It's another great day here, and a little quiet on the baseball front with no practice, no interviews, nothing. So they were en route to Norman yesterday and will be playing in Oklahoma today. So I'll have coverage of that this afternoon.
Oh, they're playing today. It's Thursday, Friday, Saturday
for Easter to not play on Easter.
Very good. That's very good. So great. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Easter off. What time tonight? It's
6:30 tonight.
Perfect.
6:30 tomorrow. So
all right.
2 afternoon. Yeah.
Tyler Fay, get back after it. Another no-hitter. First time, second time. He hits the first one in 43 years. He needs the second one in 3 weeks.
Yeah, there we go. And hey, if he's a little off today, it's not his fault. He was thrown off by the early start. So
exactly, built-in excuse. Built-in excuse. What do you want to start with, Theo? You want to start with mock draft? You want to start with budgets, or you want to start with a transfer portal target?
Dealer's choice.
All right, so let's look at these budgets real quick, because this came across our Twitter timelines over the last couple of days, that UConn is the only FBS public school to spend more money on basketball than football for the 2023-2024 season. So there's a couple seasons ago, right? This is a couple seasons ago. They spent more money on men's and women's basketball than any FBS school in the country, and it yielded them a double Final Four appearance. This is a couple years now that they've been in the Final Four. What, 3 out of the last 4? 3 out of the last 3?
Yeah, 3 out of the last 4 for UConn.
Oh my
And the
gosh.
1 year they didn't, it was a 1-point loss to the national champions.
Okay, so like you're doing really well.
Yes.
You're investing in basketball. You're doing really really well. But you have Alabama way out here. Basically, if you were looking at this chart, it is a big old line graph. Every logo is under the one line graph, and I guess that's the delineation between football and football and basketball expenses. And so you have football eating up all the expenses on all these charts, but you've got Alabama way out to the far right, and basically in line with all the other major schools in height. And so you are spending money on basketball, according to this chart, but your football spending is off of this chart. It's basically off the. You spend more than A&M, more than Washington, more than Nebraska, more than Tennessee, all these schools. Now, part of this expense and part of the reason why it's so far off to the right, Theo, is because of Coach DeBoer's contracts and everything that they had to do to hire DeBoer and to handle the transition. Because this is a couple years ago. This chart is from 2023-24. The newest chart, this has Alabama spending more than $100 million on football. The newest information, Alabama for the 2024-25 season spent $82 million on football. Which would still put them to the very far end of this chart, but it wouldn't put them past the cluster of schools, Nebraska, Washington, A&M, schools that had coaching changes or had other extenuating circumstances. $82 million for last year's football season, basically, and you still ended up losing in the Rose Bowl. You got to playoff. You had a good year, but just want to talk about what you think these two programs, less about the specific chart and more about the generalities of the last couple of years in trending. You've spent a lot of money on Alabama football, and you've continued to spend money on Alabama football, and you should. It's the breadwinner, but you're the question is, are you disproportionately spending on Alabama football for the results that you're getting when you could divert some money? You're seeing the results in basketball. You've got Final Four, Elite Eight, Sweet 16. You have 4 straight Sweet 16s. You've got a handful of conference titles in the Nate Oats era, and you're telling Nate Oats to operate in budget ball. Okay, cool. You're spending all this money on football, and you've gotten playoff appearances, first round exits. You've gotten ReliaQuest bowls. You've gotten wins the last SEC championship. It's Jalen Milroe. So that's now a couple of years gone by. And so I'm wondering, could you divert $10 million from the football program into the basketball budget and get more results, get greater results, and think, okay, well, you're still probably going to get ReliaQuest bowls, first round exits with $15 million less, with $12 million less. Give it to the basketball program. Could you take this year's what could this basketball program do with another $10 million? Could you have been in on Yaxel Lindebor? Could you have been in on AJ DeBanza? Could you have been in on some of these players that you've missed out on, and thus take the Sweet 16 to the Elite Eight, or from the Elite Eight, get you another Final Four, and get you another crack at a national championship? Is Alabama spending wisely with their athletic budget?
I am the biggest college basketball fan out there. I love covering Alabama college basketball. You never divert a single penny away from this football program. And this is, you guys understand what football means for this university, for this fan base, what it does for revenue. It is always going to dwarf every other number that we have in the program. And
sure.
We saw a report. First of all,
the most recent report has Alabama $82 million in football, basketball 15.
And then revenue-wise, it was football $64 million, Alabama $9 million.
Basketball 9. Yes, million. Exactly.
Never put full blind faith into these numbers because they're always,
fudging, little movement here.
The thing is, I looked at this chart, right, and I counted about 8 schools that were firmly above Alabama in basketball spending. And you had all the schools you'd expect, and then you had Ohio State in there. Louisville was in there. It was not very many. Like Kansas, for example, was on about equal footing with Alabama. Meanwhile, we also saw a few weeks ago, here's Alabama 11th in spending in the SEC. So every number is going to be reported a little differently. We don't necessarily know where all that money is going. We don't necessarily know what is being attributed to, okay, what counts as basketball spending? What counts as football spending? Regardless of what the real numbers are, you are never going to divert a single penny away from football. And it really doesn't matter what the results are. Football could go out and 2024 could become par for the course, right? For this program, let's say, for example. And you have a program that is not competing for college football playoffs, is falling short regularly. Well, guess what? That program is still propping up your entire athletic department. It's still propping up your whole university. The Alabama football brand, regardless of what happens on the field, is not going away. Look at Nebraska, right? And I know I'm giving a pure doomsday scenario here where Alabama does fall. I don't think that's going to happen per se, but even if it did, it would not matter. I love this basketball program. Throw up a comment from Owen Barnes. Someone says they want to be a Theo when they grow up. Thank you, John. I appreciate that one.
Owen was talking about UConn's football and basketball team. I sure hope the basketball team gets more money, given how bad a UConn's football team is. Going on, Kentucky spent $22 million. It didn't make them better. Yes, we need to support Nate, but I agree, not diverting it away because of football success helps pay for basketball.
Yes, and this is I went on the show with Owen Barnes. Thanks for the
Barnes
comment.
on Bama.
Barnes on Bama. Went on with him yesterday, and we were talking about roster construction. He said something that I really appreciated. Nate Oats builds this team for 5 to 7 games a year. And that is a great way of putting it, because when you think about this roster that Alabama has, it's always going to be competitive. Nate Oats is going to field a good team. And this was I thought, one of the best takes Owen had that really put things into perspective. You have to figure out how to beat these elite teams, right? And Alabama's fallen short the last couple of years. And you're going all in for 1 or 2 more players. Now, you don't know what difference they're going to make in these games. Basketball, the randomness of the tournament, I think, is a big piece of things where you need the big-time players. But when your success is always defined by, well, how many games did we win in one of the most random tournaments in sports? I think just going out and attacking it from a perspective of we need to get the Yaxel in the portal every single year. It's not feasible for Alabama, first of all. We don't know how much a difference it's going to make, second off. And like I said, it just all goes back to football.
Now,
We're
hold
never
on.
going to take any money.
You said don't know how much of a difference it's going to make. You can't look me in the face and tell me that an AJ DeBansa, a Yaxel Lindeborg, a Caleb Holt type player is not making a big difference on what was it? Caleb Wilson for North Carolina broke his foot, whatever it was, but he was incredible. You can't tell me that one of these types of players that, okay, take me back to last year. Give me a Kamon Malawash on that team. And you can't tell me that an elite player with elite traits. Now, you think about Malawash, you think about maybe Ruben Chinilu, like an elite defensive big, rebounding defensive big wouldn't have made a huge difference on this. Or another scorer, thinking about AJ and thinking about Yak, like another scorer, another playmaking scorer with the ball in it. Like those types of players make big differences, become matchup nightmares. Why were we so, this is going to be a bad night against Michigan? Because we didn't have anyone on your entire roster of 9 healthy bodies that could guard Yaxel Lindeborg.
Yes, I may have overstepped a little on that last.
That's okay.
Statement.
That's okay. I'm just asking.
No, I get what you're saying, and I understand. Yes, this team was, in theory, 1 or 2 players.
Now it might
away.
have been. Look. One bad decision or a stacked up bad decision by Aiden Holloway might have made the difference. You have a second playmaker on the floor right there. Maybe Aiden Holloway gives you an explosive second half, picks up some of the slack that was left off. You might have already had the chemistry and the right formula in this year's team had you've been healthier in the front court, but then you had, bad decisions and injuries and some bad luck as well. Really kind of snake bit this team. It might have worked out. This might have been the roster. It might have been the ones.
Another piece of this argument, I think, especially when you look at a program like Kentucky, where you see, yes, you spent all the money. It didn't matter. What is the upside on basketball? And I say this as in, I would love in every way, shape, and form to have a national championship banner hanging in Coleman Coliseum. When you have a program that is already operating as one of the best in the nation, right? Already, we make the jokes about Coleman sometimes not being all the way filled out. You're making a lot of money off ticket revenue. You're making money off of, being able to go out to events like in Vegas at the Players Era and being talked about as one of these big time programs and people caring about Alabama basketball. You're never going to become a blue blood or anything, right? I don't really know how much upside exists for Alabama basketball from a program perspective. And I don't know
elaborate
that. I don't know the effect that it has on overall revenue, because at the end of the day, it all boils down to revenue, right?
Yeah.
Football has a reputation, number one, to protect, right? Reputation is one of the best programs in the nation. Number two, to grow, right? You succeed in this new era. Your reputation continues to build as, yes, Alabama, most successful program, 21st century, all that stuff. I think the upside on football succeeding remains so much higher. You look at the numbers, like 64 million, 9 million. How astronomically high can that football revenue get versus, I don't know what that basketball revenue could look like. But that is what it always boils down to. It just feels like basketball will always be pennies on the dollar to what this football program can produce.
That's fair.
Another comment from Owen Barnes.
Yeah, go ahead. Pull it up.
Problem I have with that idea is the cost of these players throws off the rest of your payroll. You can't pay Yaks 5 to 6 if LeBaron is making 1.7. That is also a very fair point, right? We've talked about football and we saw Ole Miss, like supposedly players' salaries got leaked, right? Basketball is such a different dynamic because of how small the roster is. So I think there's something to that too.
I think he's probably right on that, and I do think that's an underrated aspect of, because you pay in the Axel 5 or 6. Well, LeBaron immediately, his agent gets on the phone and says, "Well, aren't you being loyal to our guy? Loyal to the guy who's been here for 2 years already? He's at 5 or 6. Well, LeBaron should be at 5 or 6 as well, or 7 or 8." I think he's probably exactly right on that. He's got one more. It's not as simple as just pay for one player to help the upside. I think you ultimately are exactly right. I think Owen is as well. I just think that you were trying to maybe address a conversation that's happened on the internet. Ultimately, I think I feel the same way as you, Theo, is that football is the foundation, and so you cannot take anything away from the foundation. I look at Kentucky's roster. I look at what Duke is working with. I look at UConn, the dollar amount that they're able to throw around, and I look at losing a guy like Caleb Holt largely. And I think, man, it would be nice to have another $10 million to spread across the whole roster. But I just don't think that that's going to happen. I think you think about the contrast and attitudes with the basketball stadium. I don't really think the administration is ramping up any sort of efforts to create plans for a new basketball arena, whereas the average Alabama basketball fan wants one tomorrow. And they're not wrong. I mean, you can like Coleman. I like Coleman. I enjoy it. But you can also see the appeal of a new stadium, a new arena. It would be appealing, but I'm personally fond of the tradition and of Coleman College. I'm fond of the airport hangar, and I think it's serving your purpose. You're getting enough out of it right now that it doesn't make sense to go spent a lot of money on a brand new arena, and ultimately, you never know how that's going to play out, as far as reaction and as far as money and how much it's going to cost and time and just everything that goes into that. I think I'm on the same page with you, but seeing UConn on the other side of the line, whereas, oh wow, they are spending more on men's and women's basketball than their entire football program. Now their football their football program is buns, absolutely buns, but they're just to have the the double Final Four in the same season. Now that would be an absolute pipe dream, with the men's and women's basketball team both making the Final Four in the same year. Men's have done it recently. Women's, it was what, 91, 92? It was early 90s. Yeah, 90s. So it's been a long time for that program. One thing, Theo, you see the ladies hired a new basketball coach yesterday.
Yes, they did.
Oh, yeah. New basketball coach going to take Alabama to the promised land.
Hey, Oklahoma's had some success. Pauline Love, the new coach, was the associate head coach at Oklahoma. Everyone seems to be happy with the hire. It is, I will say, it doesn't necessarily, we don't know the number yet, right, on salary, but it doesn't seem like it's necessarily a budget hire. This seems like we wanted to hire someone who'd make us competitive, so we took a big-time assistant from one of the best programs in the country. I don't think that comes with a small price tag.
No, I think it's probably right in line with what Christie was making, maybe a little more. But you give Pauline Love her first head coaching job, coached at McNeese, Southern Miss, Arkansas, Alabama, and most recently Oklahoma as an assistant coach, and she will be introduced today over at the in Coleman Coliseum. The Coleman Coliseum, the upstairs kind of little meeting room, basically treaty room, banquet room, is where she will be introduced today. So we'll see what she has to say, and we'll see how 38 years old, taking on the Crimson Tide.
Wow,
I think it's awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, if that's the place where I think that they save some money, inexperience and youth.
Alabama's had a bunch of players go for the portal.
Yeah. And that's going to be her first job is basically reconstructing this roster for the next season.
As long as you keep Ace Austin in Tuscaloosa.
I think I feel pretty good about that. I think that she is probably not at risk to leave.
I agree.
Yeah, not at risk to leave. But speaking of roster construction and staying with the basketball, you're going to have the transfer portal opening in 7 days. 5 days now, April 7th. Excuse me, 5 days now. You're going to have the transfer portal opening in a couple of days, in 5 days, and you've got a huge task for Nate Oats to once again rebuild this roster. You're already losing Noah Williamson, Latrell Wrightsell, Houston Millette. You're losing those guys. You're very, 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 very likely to lose LeBaron Philon. Maybe you lose Amari Allen to the NBA draft. Who knows? You got a lot of pieces in play. But the first thing that you see is a massive hole in the guards with all the guards. And I got a guy that Alabama needs to go after. I probably need to. Yeah, he is in the transfer portal. Perfect. That was wait. Let me double check myself. Yes, he is in the transfer portal already. But Alabama needs to go after this fella. There are only 3 players in college basketball, Theo, to post a 53% effective field goal percentage out of the pick and roll, while posting a 30% assist rate with 1 made 3-pointer a game. Can you name the 3 players? 2 of them, well, one should be very obvious to you, but one is a player that Alabama played, and the other is this player.
I think one is Braden Smith.
One is not Braden Smith. That's okay. One more guess. And
one is Darius Aiko.
That's okay. LeBaron Philon is the obvious one. The other one, you played Christian Anderson to Texas Tech.
That's all right.
And this fella, you need to go out and get Alex Wilkins. Alex Wilkins from Furman, a Furman freshman. He averaged 17.8 points per game. He averaged 4.7 rebounds, assists per game. First-year guard, all SoCon, scored 21 points against the UConn Huskies in their NCAA tournament game. I'm going to send Nate Oats and company after 6'5", freshman guard, now sophomore guard, Alex Wilkins out of Mattapan, Massachusetts. He's been at Furman this year. Season high in scoring was, 26 a couple times, 26 twice, 28, 28 was the season high. Oh, nope, 34 against UNC Greensboro. So my mans can fill it up. Ended up shooting from the three-point line. Where's my percentage? Right there. Three-point line at 32.8% as a freshman. Made 65 out of 198 attempts from behind the three-point line. 6'5", long guard. Operates in the pick and roll, low turnover numbers, ended up turning it over to defense average. Okay, that is two turnovers a game. So maybe a little high, but freshman, ball dominant guard. That's my guy. I think Alabama should go after Alex Wilkins.
I like that. I mean, I like the 6'5", without a doubt, right? I'm going to try to go home and watch some of his highlights now, but no, he passes the eye test, obviously, with the measurables, with the size, with the numbers you gave me, and
you can promise him a large role. I mean, nothing's promised, but you can tell him that there is a large role. Right, there's a large role waiting if you come in and prove yourself. Lots of minutes in this Alabama backcourt, like lots of minutes. You're losing tons. Is Jaleel gone too? Very likely, yes. Very likely. So like you're looking at an entirely new four guys: LeBaron, Jaleel, Latrell, Houston. Oh, Aiden probably coming back. So you got who wants to come play with one of the best shooters in college basketball? You want to run the pick and roll with Aiden Sherrill and kick it out to Aiden Holloway? Man, that's a selling point. Play in front of Coleman Coliseum? Yeah. Upgrade from Furman to Alabama? Shouldn't be that hard. I mean, South Carolina to Alabama, like you're not going to, you're not having a crazy lifestyle change right there.
No, I like the idea of bringing this guy in. I don't know what we're looking at guard wise. I don't know.
All I know you're looking at you needing some guards.
You
need somebody.
This guy seems like he would do the job. It's not a bad pull.
All right, so put that name in your sheet, Theo. And as you start seeing guys go into the transfer portal, if you see fits, if you see guys you like, you can bring them up on the show.
Now, where do you put that guy in comparison to Adrian Woolley?
Probably going to cost a lot less.
Is he? Is a freshman who puts up those kind of numbers going to cost a lot less than a role player on this Louisville team?
You just a guess. Yeah, just a guess. What do you like about Adrian Woolley? Oh, hometown guy. Oh, that's a discount. There you go. Paul Bryant High School. There's your
right. Yeah, that's why.
There's your evening out the money right there.
He got paid a lot of money to go play for Louisville last year, but I would really be interested in bringing. I mean, either of those guys, like you said,
also a 6'5" guard, also 8.7 points a game, four rebounds, and basically 2 assists per game, shooting 35% from beyond the arc, so just a little bit better. Did he make more? Did he make? Where's my totals? Totals are at the bottom, dummy. Totals. He made 41 3-pointers, so 25 less basically this season.
And you guys know I'm interested still. I'm a little still hung up on Preston Edmeade and this Hofstra team.
Oh, hey, if you can get yourself some Edmeade, and Victory Onyetu. Give me Onyetu to be the defensive, just dirty work enforcer. Let Sherrill just keep being the skill big, and let Onyetu be the dog down there. Yeah.
There are names at these mid-major schools, right? And it's such a hard process of finding guys who are actually going to translate. And you've had, obviously, a good bit of success with that, right? Bringing in Estrada, bringing in Latrell Reitzel, right?
Bringing in Mark Sears.
Yes, that's the big one. But then, obviously, you've had your misses, especially with the bigs, right? You bring in a Noah Williamson, and you expect him to be able to translate in this system. And it's hard to find these guys that will fit, but I think you got to imagine Nate Oats has learned a lot about recruiting, right? He's learned a lot about the guys that he wants on his roster, and I have a lot of faith in bringing in impactful players. I just wonder, you don't know how much money exists, right? And it's just so hard to speculate. What are you paying Sherrill? What are you trying to pay London Jemison? What, if anything, are you trying to pay Aiden Holloway at this point? How much money do you have available? What offers are these guys getting? Like, it's just so hard to speculate on any of this right now.
Yeah, so we'll see the transfer portal open in 5 more days, and it will become easier to speculate. I would expect some Alabama news in the next maybe 48 hours going into the weekend ahead of the transfer portal opening. I think you're probably going to have a little bit of news right there, and so it's going to be a great weekend. We will keep you up on who goes into the portal, who stays out of it. There's no way did Bruce Feldman. You see, I'm going through this mock draft because that's where we're transitioning, and I'm control effing. There's no way he doesn't have Ty Simpson in the first 2 rounds. No, we skipped 25, 28, 29, 30, 32. Oh, he mocked teams without first-round draft picks. Okay, that's why. It's only a first-round pick. It's only first-round mocks, and then it's a couple extras of teams that do not have first-round draft picks. Okay, that makes perfect sense. All right, so Theo, let's keep going here. We want to tell everybody about our friends at Purple Turtle Roofing. We're presented by Purple Turtle Roofing each and every day. You can check out online at roofturtle.com. At Purple Turtle Roofing, we're not just another contractor. We're your neighbor and your advocate when it comes to protecting your home or business. With years of hands-on experience, top-tier certification, and a commitment to excellence, we've built a reputation as Alabama's go-to roofing solution. We specialize in residential roofing, commercial roofing, emergency storm repairs, full-on roof replacements, insurance claim support, and more. It doesn't matter if you have a metal roof or a shingle roof. You can call them today at 877-787-6635. They'll come out and give you a free roof inspection, let you know if you've got any trouble spots, if you've got some broken shingles, if you've got any screws loose on your metal roof. They'll come out and just inspect it, give you the information that you need first. Just because you have them out for an inspection doesn't mean you're buying anything, but that information is power, and you can make the proper decisions that you need to give you the peace of mind in your own home. So check them out today at roofturtle.com. Roofing with heart, built to last. Purple Turtle Roofing. All right, we're hanging out with my man Theo Fernandez inside the Derek Daniel State Farm Studios on a Thursday. Theo, I won't talk mock drafts because it is April. April is draft month, and my Chicago Bears are really looking at tackles. What do you think about Kadyn Proctor at 25 to my Chicago Bears? Would you be happy for me in that case, or would you laugh at me in that case? What would be your reaction?
I have mixed feelings about Proctor as a prospect, but I think you have to be happy if he's there at 25. Right? Because I don't think he will be there. This mock draft we're about to look at doesn't have him there. I think if he's there at 25, you pull the trigger.
Okay.
And I do have a lot of, I don't know, I really mixed feelings about Proctor, man.
I do too.
It's hard to, or it's easy to envision a world where he just does not translate at all. But then you have to imagine there's a very high likelihood of, okay, we can just move you into guard after a couple of years. So at least you're getting something. But I think he's too good of a prospect to pass up in a world where he's there at 25.
Yeah, he's a mammoth prospect. And, you know, I'm making this about me, but it's not about me. Ryan Poles has been at basically every major tackles pro day. He was at right here in Alabama last week for Kadyn Proctor's pro day. And I'm sitting exactly where you are. There is a world where he plays at 342, he plays at 338, at 347, somewhere in that range, and is a really good left tackle, good in pass protection, okay in run blocking. Problem is, he doesn't really fit the Bears system as far as getting out in space and moving and run blocking, but he is a great athlete for his size, as evidenced by everything that Alabama did with him this past season, and by evidence by Alabama encouraging him to lose weight, to be a great athlete. I can see it going both ways for him. If you get him at 25, he can be a tackle for you for 10 years and be solid, and you can be happy with the pick, or he can be unplayable and basically a reserve lineman by the end of the year. And so it's going to be really interesting to see how Kadyn Proctor embraces his new NFL program and what they ask him to do, and being a professional and being his own boss, and will he take care of, I mean, he's getting paid when he was here at Alabama, and I thought he struggled in the area of taking care of himself, taking care of his weight. Now, injuries played a part in that. We want to be fair. Injuries played a part in that. Kept him off a bike for a while. He was on a shoulder injury for a while too. Like, he dealt with a lot of injuries that kept him from keeping himself in tip-top shape. But I do think that was an area that he also struggled in. Conversely,
Yeah, I'd agree with that, but obviously maturity as you go through your college career, right? Probably, different person now. At the same time, this is a guy who got out, did all this, took care of what he needed to, right? Graduating with a high GPA, getting out of the university early, and
now he's taking care of his body post-season, and he seemed like, he seemed like, okay, I'm stepping into a professional world. I'm going to be a professional. He seemed like he's embraced it through 8 weeks, 6 weeks of whatever it's been since the end of the year.
Which is not some big gold star there. Like, that's what you're supposed to do, but it's still, you're doing what you need to.
All right. So this mock draft, we're looking at The Athletic. We're looking at Bruce Feldman today, as he has put out a mock draft. I think it was last night. Let me scroll up to the top and see a date there. April 1st, yesterday. He puts it out, and he has no Ty Simpson in his first round mock draft, but he has Kadyn Proctor going at number 17 to the Detroit Lions, replacing Taylor Decker, their left tackle. Taylor Decker retires. So he's having the Detroit Lions take Kadyn Proctor. And we all know that Dan Campbell loves a man mover, loves a nasty boy. And so I think that it's not a horrible fit. I also question his ability to be athletic in space in the run game for the Lions. But for a team that needs a left tackle, how do you like him going 17th overall to the Detroit Lions?
As far as position in the draft, that seems about right. You'd think mid to late teens for Kadyn Proctor. I just, like you said, I do worry about him in a system like Detroit, Chicago.
Aren't the Lions trying to tease a Penei Sewell to left tackle move? I think that's what I've been seeing over the last couple of weeks here. And I think the idea with this is to make Kadyn Proctor a right tackle.
I don't hate that idea. I mean, it's always, I'm kind of a little surprised we hadn't seen Sewell make that move earlier, just because of, what a premium position that is.
Yeah, 2 days ago, Dan Campbell says Penei Sewell ready to move to left tackle.
Wow. Yeah, if you draft Kadyn Proctor at 17 to be your right tackle on the other end of, a team that basically has one of the best tackles in football, I think you have to feel okay about that, as, I think we're giving ourselves a real chance to have a stud here and complete an offensive line.
But what about through Proctor's perspective? Does he like the fit going to Detroit? Is that the place where he's going to play for 4 years, get his 5th-year extension, and then cash in for a big time contract? Because we want what's best for him.
Yeah, I see no reason why you shouldn't be happy about going there if you're Proctor, right? And I'm not, admittedly, not the most knowledgeable on line and fits and understand. Like, I couldn't sit here and tell you, yes, this is the perfect fit schematically for Kadyn Proctor on a given team. I think you have to feel happy going into a system of a team that has had success, ran things well, produced very effective offensive lines. I see no problem with that.
And I like the fit of Dan Campbell as his head coach.
Because they get along great.
Right? Well, I think that Dan Campbell's going to be able to relate. He just seems like such a relatable person. Be relatable with his players. But what I also think is, I think that Dan Campbell brings a little bit of the college vibe of, I'm going to rah you up. I'm going to get you fired up for work today. You're at practice, rah. It's exciting. And I think that Kadyn probably needs that a little bit. Hey, rah, we're at practice. Come on, man, let's get it going. Needs a little fuel. I think he's can be a really good player when he's fueled up and motivated and fired up.
Yes, but when you get to this next level, like, you shouldn't have to rely.
You shouldn't have to, but that's why I think Dan Campbell's important for him.
I don't know that Kadyn Proctor is a guy who has to rely on that. Like, I don't know. I don't think that's a statement I would make at this point in time.
I'm comfortable with my position.
Like, yes, maybe it was true in Tuscaloosa, but like, you get to the pros, there's a different standard. And there's a standard that I think these guys are getting used to. And I don't know. You could be completely right. And if you are right, yes, Dan Campbell is the perfect fit. Dan Campbell is a guy who, hey, he gets the most out of his players no matter what, right? Like if there is a benefit to motivation, he provides it. I don't necessarily know that it's a statement I'd make about Kadyn Proctor as he prepares to go be, a team's future at a tackle position.
Our last part of this mock draft discussion is the fact that there is only one quarterback in the entire mock draft. And of course, it is Fernando Mendoza going to the Las Vegas Raiders. Las Vegas Raiders signing Kirk Cousins to, back up Fernando Mendoza or start the first 6 weeks, start the first 4 weeks, and then turn it over to Fernando. But no Ty Simpson in this entire first round mock draft. Theo, your latest take blew up in your face a little bit, but and that's okay. That's what happens with takes. But your newest opinion, your newest stance prediction has been Ty Simpson, top 16 pick. Now, I'm standing firm with you there. I'll back you up there. I think he will be a top 16 pick. But Bruce Feldman of The Athletic says not even in the first round, and your reaction is?
Yeah, so I'm planting the flag in the ground. I'm hard stance, just like I went a few weeks ago, and we're not even going to address that one now. But Ty Simpson will be going in the top half of the first round. I am confidently saying that. You're seriously telling me.
I'll back you up on that.
You are
it's Theo's
seriously telling me that a guy's going to go number 1 overall, and we're going to go 31 picks without a quarterback. It happens very, very rarely. 2013, EJ Manuel goes and no one else goes in the first round. 2020, it was 22, right? The really bad QB class, the Malik Willis, or was it 21?
One of those with
Malik Willis,
the Pittsburgh quarterback. The Pittsburgh quarterback went to Pittsburgh. The tiny hands.
Oh yeah, Kenny Pickett.
Right? Yes, right.
And then no one else. Yeah,
terrible.
Now those drafts are few and far between. Most other drafts, the story of the first round is, this. And the story of the whole lead up to the draft is, these QBs that, that some of them had mid-round grades. We didn't really know where they were going to go, but, they've looked really good in the lead up, and we think we're going to take them to be our future in the first round. That happens every single draft. Why do you think this year, just about every single draft, this year is not going to be one of those rare exceptions? Because I think Ty Simpson has done enough to really impress a lot of teams. And even if he hasn't impressed them, teams are thinking, we may as well take him. And that's what it comes down to so often. And I've talked about it with the Jets and why they need to take Ty Simpson when you have a regime in its second year that really disappointed year one. And you have a coach in Aaron Glenn who's already on the hot seat, GM and Darren Moogie, who he probably has more than 2 years, but don't you want to get the QB now? Don't you want to, when the season blows up like it will for the Jets, you're going to go 4-13 no matter what. Don't you want to have guys we're developing this young QB? Don't you realize how much time that buys you? You got to stop thinking of NFL teams as rational organizations who make the objective right move. The move for these teams right now is not to take Ty Simpson. It's not going to work early on if Ty Simpson goes to the Jets. He's not set up for success there. It makes all the sense in the world for the people running the front office to take Ty Simpson right now, though. And that is, if Ty Simpson is there at number 16, which I do not think he will be, the New York Jets will select him.
Bruce Feldman has the New York Jets taking Arvell Reese at 2. No arguments there. And then at 16 has him taking Jordan Tyson, the wide receiver from Arizona State, instead of a quarterback. So they've got him going Jordan Tyson at 16 and Arvell Reese at 2. And all these teams passing up on a quarterback. You got Miami Dolphins passing up on a quarterback. Miami Dolphins, are they really going to give Malik Willis a full-on shot?
You paid him $24 million a year.
Yeah,
you should.
Yeah.
I think Malik Willis deserves a shot.
I think he's underrated. I do think he's a good player, but I'm just that's a surprising decision for me. Obviously, Titans don't need anybody. You got Cowboys already got a quarterback. This is the top 5. The Giants, you're set on Jackson Dart. Are you?
Yes.
Okay.
There's no-
Just
get
checking.
out of
Just
here.
checking. If Brown's at 6, might be an option. Francis Minoga. He's got Commanders. I know everybody loves you, Jaden Daniels, but
No, there's no buts. Jaden Daniels.
that's great. It's great. He's not going to last.
Yeah, well, 2 years ago he led him to the playoffs as a rookie. There's no debate.
His
there.
defense led him to the playoffs.
There's no the Washington will not be in the mix.
No, they won't be, but they should be. They
No,
should
they
look themselves in the mirror and say and that see that Jaden Daniels is fool's gold.
You just drafted him second overall.
You did, and it's going to end up backfiring. You'll just hold that in the back of your mind.
Okay.
They will not draft Ty Simpson. No, that's not what I'm
right.
saying. But they should. They should think about it. Saints, they got them taking Cardinal Tate. They should think about it as well. They should, but they won't. Chiefs, obviously not. Bengals, obviously not. Bengals, Caleb Downs, we're going to beef up that defense. They gave up 50-something points to the Bears. Dolphins, Monster Delane, no. Cardinals, Ty Simpson. They got him taking Monroe Freeling at 12 instead of Ty Simpson.
I think this Cardinals 12, Rams 13 is a fascinating back-to-back.
Let me tell you, if the Rams end up with Mekhi Lemon, that's going to make me a sick fantasy owner of Puka Nacua. That's going to make me very, very, very upset with Puka, Lemon, and Devontae Adams all on the team. You can't be taking targets away from my baby boy Puka.
Well, Puka's got to.
He's got some problems. He's got some problems, but he'll be back. It's a long time to the season starts. It's a long time. All right, so no Ty Simpson in the first round. I stand with you, Theo, that Ty Simpson will be not only a first-round draft pick, but a 16 or better pick. 16 or better on that first Thursday night. That's going to do it for my hand. You got any cards in your deck, or are you ready to get out of here? Cash out.
I got one quick thing on Proctor before we wrap, because I was just thinking about it as you're talking. Do you think the recent Alabama offensive tackle history in the NFL at all plays into how teams view Proctor?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah. I mean, they say don't scout the helmet, but it's almost impossible. Is he going to turn out like Jedrick Wills and not be everything that you wanted? Is he going to turn out like Evan Neal? Thank you. Is he going to turn out Alex Leatherwood absolutely awful? Like, yeah, your last handful have been objectively bad players, not been able to translate into the NFL, and whether that's been their own doing, the fits with the team, or something else. Injuries washed up here at Alabama, used up here at Alabama maybe is a popular detractors line. I don't know that I always agree with that. I think that's kind of a hater's perspective. You come to college football to play football. If you're here, you're playing football. If you're anywhere, if you're Georgia, Ohio State, Texas, you're playing football. Injuries are part of the game. You might get beat up on the practice field. But yeah, I do. I think that it adds just a little element of the unknown. Oh, he could be awesome. He could be worth the first round pick, or he could be absolutely flame out, gain 50, be playing at 370 and can't move out of his stance. Yeah, I think that certainly plays a part.
I could just want to get the inside.
Just a little bit. But I mean, it's obviously first scouting the player and getting to know the player. But yeah, I think just a little bit there as well. When you take an Alabama offensive lineman lately, it hasn't worked out.
Yeah.
This is the last one that did work out. Lennon Dickerson.
Yeah, and he was a second rounder.
Right, off a knee injury.
Yeah.
Was there anybody since then that's real? I mean, Tyler had a good year. Booker had a good year, but I'm not moved off one good year, and he's playing guard.
My understanding is Latham is already viewed as a disappointment.
Yes, for sure, 100%. Yes, my Titans friends think that he's a bum. It's unfortunate.
Who is since the turn of the decade, right, to the 2020s, who has been selected as an offensive lineman that's worked out?
Oh my gosh, you're gonna have to make me pull. At least I'm gonna give you Tyler Booker for now. I'm gonna give you Landon Dickerson for sure.
Dickerson would have been a first rounder.
Yeah,
he's handled it.
Let's see, because since 2020, is that what you want to go with?
Yeah.
I'll scroll all the way down to 2020. Yeah, I'm at 10, 2016, 18, 20. All right. Jedrick Wills, no. We're just looking at offensive linemen. Jedrick Wills, no. You keep scrolling. Next year, first rounders, nobody. Alex Weatherwood in 21, absolutely not. Leonard Dickerson, center, second rounder, definitely. Definitely has worked out. Deontay Brown, he's been fine for the. No. He's with the Panthers. Didn't really make a roster. Evan Neal, terrible with the Giants. Then 2022, first round pick, not good. You end up, now I'm in 2023. You've got Tyler Steen. That's who I was thinking of, the other Eagle. He's been fine. He hasn't been great, but he's been fine. And for a third round pick, fine. Okay, you continue on. JC Latham, 2024, seen as a disappointment. You nailed it. You continue on. Offensive guard Tyler Booker in 25. Good rookie year. We'll see.
There are a lot less Alabama linemen in the league than I would have thought.
Well, that's just the last handful of years.
Yeah. I'm not, because I pulled up the whole list. There aren't that many.
Well, you had, who's the center that just retired? Ryan Kelly just retired.
And he was a late round.
No, he was a first round pick.
Was he?
First round pick for the Colts. 16 overall, 17 overall for the Colts.
Oh. Maybe I'm mixing them up. Who was someone was undrafted who just retired.
J.C. Hassenauer, is that right? Or was it Bradley Bozeman? Bradley Bozeman. Wasn't Bozeman a sixth round pick?
Sixth round pick, yeah.
Right.
Hadn't just retired. So, yeah, not as many as I thought. We'll see on Proctor if that
plays into it at all.
He's too good of a prospect to be a first rounder, you'd think.
Well, we'll see. We'll find out. I think he will be a first round draft pick. People will be intrigued by his size. I'm just hoping that he's picked before 25. Don't tempt my boy Ryan Poles, because he'll do it. He'll fall in love with size, with traits, with potential. So we'll see. Let's get out of here for the day. We will be back tomorrow for a big episode. We'll react to Alabama baseball's first game against Oklahoma. We will set you up for the weekend ahead. Final Four this weekend. No Alabama involved, but we'll talk about it a little bit tomorrow. We will maybe Theo will come up with a prospect that Nate Oats needs to go after in the transfer portal. If not, I'll find one more. Maybe we'll talk about this Chris Lowe article tomorrow with Kalen DeBoer saying the transfer portal targets are better and cheaper than the departees. So we'll find out if that's true or not. We had a lot of fun with you guys today. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us on the Bama Central YouTube channel, on the Bama Central Facebook page, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, Spotify. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow right here on the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central, BamaCentral.com.
Thanks for joining us on today's edition of the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. Keep up with Joe on all his social media pages at Joe Gaither6. Subscribe, rate, and review the show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and be sure to read us daily at BamaCentral.com.